Welcome everyone to Discover This, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Elvis Aaron Presley and the times he came to San Diego and the places he played and the places he stayed, and a little bit of history, a little bit of trivia, some fun facts to try and stump your family and friends with next time they're at La Casa. So let's get started.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So here's a bit of trivia for you. Where were Elvis's first public appearances in the state of California? Well, San Diego would be right, but specifically it was April 3rd, 1956, on the flight deck of the USS Hancock, which was docked at San Diego Naval Station, the 28th Street Pier at the time. Nowadays people just say 32nd Street Naval Station, but same place, underneath the bridge there in the far distance. The performance was for the Milton Berle TV show, which was being filmed and broadcast from the USS Hancock. In the audience were hundreds of sailors and naval personnel, and Elvis was just one of the musical guests that night. Here you can see the advertisement for that night's television show. And you can also see a few photos of Elvis rehearsing and his band rehearsing for that night's performance on the USS Hancock. Now, the next two nights, Elvis performed at the San Diego Arena, also known as Glacier Gardens, which at the time was here at the foot of 8th Avenue and Harbor Drive. Now, 8th Avenue currently dead ends at Gallagher Park, which is right behind Petco Park. And Petco Park sits right on the spot where Glacier Gardens or the San Diego Arena used to be. Glacier Gardens was an ice hockey arena, ice skating rink back in the day, and they had a few shows here and there. But the San Diego shows on April 4th and 5th, 1956 were the only West Coast shows for Elvis on that part of the tour. Both shows were sold out, packed with kids wanting to see the upcoming sensation that was Elvis. Heartbreak Hotel had just been released and was racing up the charts. On that first night, April 4th, one of the thousands of screaming girls in the audience was one Raquel Tejada, a local teenager, later to be known as Raquel Welch. This is her senior photo from La Jolla High School a few years after that show. Now, a group of girls reportedly broke into Elvis's dressing room and stole his toilet seat.
Your word, Chad.
The total audience for those two nights was 11,250, and Elvis was paid $15,000 for those two San Diego shows. Now, the next day, April 6th, Elvis signed a 7-picture deal with Paramount Studios. And then that night, on April 6th, he flew out with Colonel Tom Parker to Las Vegas to discuss a multi-performance contract with the New Frontier Hotel. Nowadays, you'd call that a residency. Elvis's band, Scotty Moore, DJ Fontana, and Bill Black all had to drive to Denver, Colorado for their next performance. Now, some of these photos from the April 4th and 5th, 1956 shows came from Scotty Moore's website. I'll put the link at the bottom. But this is where Glacier Gardens, San Diego Arena used to be, the site of Elvis's first two San Diego performances. So during these performances, Elvis stayed at the El Cortez Hotel here at 7th and Ash in downtown San Diego. And the hotel was inundated with teenage girls screaming, hoping for a glimpse of Elvis. Now, there was some urban legend, a report from a radio DJ that a group of naked teenage girls ran through the lobby and down the halls trying to find Elvis, and they were arrested. However, no one's ever been able to find an arrest report for that. So maybe it happened and they didn't get arrested, or maybe it never happened at all. But the El Cortez was a scene for a few days anyway. Something normally not seen at this place. One of the fancier hotels in San Diego at the time. Nowadays the El Cortez is condominiums, but back in the day, this is where Elvis stayed, 1956. Now Elvis came back to San Diego on June 6, 1956 and played again at the San Diego Arena. Just one show this time before heading up the West Coast for more shows. The next night, June 7th, was in Long Beach and then on up through California. Now this show in San Diego sold out as well, with thousands of fans packing the place. Prior to this show, the San Diego Chief of Police stated, and I quote, "If he puts on the same show he did last April, I'll arrest him for disorderly conduct." Now that quote went nationwide, all over the news wires. In today's vernacular, I guess that would be called going viral. He went on to say, "I've had enough complaints from parents to assure me that twerp is not doing the kids any good." The twerp being Elvis, obviously. Suffice it to say, Elvis was not arrested. Now, whether because of all the hoopla from that interview the police chief gave or not, it would be a long time before Elvis came back to San Diego. So the next time that Elvis played San Diego was November 15th, 1970. 14 years after his last show in San Diego. 14 years. By the way, a great song by Guns N' Roses on Use Your Illusion. So back to the subject at hand. So Elvis came to the San Diego International Sports Arena, as it was known back then. And on that date, November 15, 1970, he played a 21-song set for just over 14,000 fans. There are some old photos from that show on the old interweb. Plus, an audience-recorded bootleg was also produced from that show. Then Elvis came back to the San Diego Sports Arena on April 26, 1973, to another sold-out concert. About 15,000 people. And there's more photos from that particular show, April 26, 1973. Here at this venue here. The last show Elvis played in San Diego was almost 3 years later to the day. April 24, 1976, also here at the San Diego Sports Arena. That show was just short of a sellout, about 13,000 in attendance. The San Diego Union newspaper gave it a so-so review a couple days later. And Elvis Presley died about a year and a half later on August 16th, 1977. So that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this video on Elvis and his times he came to San Diego. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you taking the time. We got lots more coming. So until next time.